Are you looking to do deals and master flipping houses? Welcome to the Do Deals Show with our host, Mr. Tim Mai. As a successful investor and mentor to many real estate investors, Tim's students consistently run 6- and 7-figure investing businesses. Each week, you'll hear from top real estate investors who share the best strategies, systems, and secrets that you can use to be more successful. Tim and his guests will pull back the curtain for you to learn their exact tactics, tricks, and tools that are working best right now in today's real estate market. Now, let's welcome Mr. Tim Mai.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to this interview. Today I have Melissa Nusbaum on the line with us, and Melissa and her husband Jeff are doing this business together. They've only been doing this since 2013, the beginning of 2013, but they've done over 180 transactions. One of the things that they're doing that's very unique is called full service wholesaling, which we're going to go in more detail here. But Melissa, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. So Melissa, share with us, how did you get started and how did you end up, in what sounds like a really great cash flow state there in Indiana? And so,
Sure.
So share with us, give us some background.
Sure, not a problem. Well, like you had mentioned, we have been doing this full time since January of 2013. Prior to that, we just kind of did it part time, just working through some of the basics, buying a rental, did a little bit of wholesaling. And in 2012, really decided that this was something that we could do that could really change our lives. And so we lived on the West Coast in Washington State when we got started. And Jeff, who is not here today, but he was the one that really kind of started all of this for us, decided that we needed to do more than we were. And he'd been working at a paper mill in Washington for 20 years, working those rotating shifts, day, swing, graveyard, and was really missing out on family life. And so he made a big decision, I think it was about October of 2012, to give his 2-week notice, which is a big deal in the mill. Nobody ever quits. They just go to retire. But he did that, and we decided we wanted to do it full time. And we looked around and decided we wanted to find a more affluent area. The Midwest is incredible for investing. And so we decided that Indiana was going to be a place to call home for a few years. There was family out here. And so we picked up our stuff and moved out here and got started in, like I said, January 2013, doing this full time. It's been incredible.
That's amazing. So going into you have family, so it's not a market that you completely don't know, but it's still a new market for you, right? How did you get off the ground running? Like, what kind of research did you do? What did you look at to give you some ideas on what strategies you're going to focus in on?
We, because Jeff had been coming back and forth here for a few years, knew a little bit about the area already. But we came out here cold turkey. We didn't have what we like to call our A players or our team put together. So we spent the first few months just marketing ourselves like crazy, working with realtors, working with contractors, and just kind of learning the area, by the school of hard knocks, really, because we did a lot of stuff for ourselves first before we started branching out to our other clients. And as things started to grow for us, we obviously started sharing our success with our friends back home and in other places that we have friends around the U.S. And they were very intrigued by the properties that we were buying, the prices that we were buying them for, and the returns that we were getting. And from that point, we just kind of decided, okay, well, maybe we can do this for our clients that aren't local and see if we can make it work. And we clearly have done that. So we do everything from locating the properties and doing research to managing the rehab for them. So it really was a kind of a morph on its own. We came out here, basic knowledge, but just living in it and breathing in it and working in it really is what gave us the experience that we have today.
That's awesome. So what's in your market? What kind of market is it? Is it a fix and flip kind of market? Is it a rental market? A little bit of both?
Sure. Actually, we can do both and have been very successful in both avenues. There's two primary counties that we invest in out here. We're kind of although we're in Indiana, we're kind of a suburb of the Chicago area. So we have a lot of Chicago people that move to this area because the tax base is a lot lower. But and one of the counties that we have is really a great fix and flip market. The properties are a little higher valued, more single family homes, things of that nature. We can buy the properties a little bit less, put some money into them, and get the returns that we want. The other county, we can do the same thing in, but there's a tremendous amount of rental volume where we can actually get a house really inexpensively, put, maybe $5,000 or $10,000 into it and get a great rental return on it. We try and do the 1% rule. So if we're all in at a certain dollar amount, we need to get 1% of that. And in those areas, we're getting more than that just because of the prices we're able to purchase at.
Right. That's awesome. So share with us about what's the difference between a normal wholesaling business, and what you have to set up there, right? It's mostly like front end, your marketing, your acquisition, a little bit of selling. What is the difference between that business versus a full service wholesaling business, and what are other systems and people that you have to put in place to be able to do that?
Absolutely. In our opinion, basic wholesaling is, you're marketing yourself, you're looking for a distressed property, whether it's on the MLS or it's from a private, source. You're locking that deal up, you're selling the contract to an end buyer, and that end buyer does whatever they're going to do with it. And you're out of the deal, you make your profit at the closing and whatnot. Full service wholesaling for us really just takes it to a whole nother level. We try to do it in an aspect where we're giving you the property that you want. We kind of call it the rifle approach as opposed to the shotgun approach. I can shoot out there and look for properties and hope to find a buyer, or we hone in on the buyers that we have. We find them exactly what they want, and we know they're going to buy 99.9% of the time. So really, we're personal shopping for our folks. So what we would do is we would get your demographic and say, okay, this is what you're looking for, rental or fix and flip, whatever. We go out and find that property. We lock it up. We do the wholesale deal as normal as everybody else would, sell it to you for a wholesale profit. And then once that deal closes, we also have a subsequent agreement with you to manage that rehab and get it to the point of whatever your exit strategy is. So let's say you want a rental property and we've got a property that meets your numbers to the T. We present it, we close on it. We immediately, within 48 hours, begin that renovation process to get it rent ready for you. And then we turn it over to a property manager that will then take over and do the marketing and get it rented for you. But we can also give you insurance companies, anybody that you need to make sure that's a successful. Accountants. We have CPAs, we have attorneys that you can consult with out here if you need to. We kind of give you the whole package. So even if you didn't want us to manage the rehab, we at least have a team of people we could give to you, and you could go do it on your own. Our clients have found that it's a little more conducive just to let us handle everything and pay us a fee for that. And then once the exit strategy kicks in, that deal closes, they're already wanting another one. So most of our clients have done more than one deal with us already over the last 2 or 3 years.
That's awesome. So for the rehabbing side, do you do that in-house or do you outsource that to a general contractor?
It's a little bit of both. It depends on the level of rehab that we're doing. A lot of our projects in the areas that we work in, we're obviously required to have permits. We are not general contractors. We're project managers in an essence. So although I can renovate, or Jeff and I can do a lot of the things that our contractors do, we do have a team of contractors that we work with. We have one contracting team that only does work for us. They're their own separate business, and so they're an independent contractor for us, and we source out to them. But all of the direction, all of the compensation, everything comes through us in that management side of it. If there's smaller projects where it's paint, carpet, cut the grass kind of a thing, that may be something we may go spend the weekend doing on our own, keeping it a little more in-house if it doesn't require a permit. So it's a little bit of both. It just depends on what the budget is and where the property is located.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, and I hope you don't mind sharing some numbers, but what is your average, profit on a wholesale deal versus your average profit on a full service wholesaling?
The cool thing is that when we wholesale, whether it's a general wholesale or we do the full service, we try to keep the number the same. We really want to make sure that the deal works. And if I'm not going to manage the rehab on that management side, we may do a little bit more, but on average, we're looking at anywhere. Our lowest, I think, is about $7,500. We've gained as much as $30,000 on a wholesale deal. One we did more, but I always take out the highest and the lowest and they don't count, right? So I would say about average $7,500. And then we have a flat fee that we charge for the management. And that's really dependent, I should say flat fee, depending on the volume of rehab. That can go anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 per property, depending on how much we have to do. So if we're doing $7,000 on the wholesale and $7,000 on them, that's $14,000 per deal, and we usually do about 2 of those, maybe 3 of those in a month. And then we'll, just keep going. And as we've got so many under, like right now, I think I have 5 under rehab right now. I'm looking at the board really quick to see what I've got. So we have 5 going on right now, and all of those are projects that we wholesaled, and then now we're managing the rehab.
That's awesome. And what's the working dynamics between you and Jeff? What does Jeff do, and what do you do?
Well, we're an incredible and unique team. I want to tell you that Jeff is awesome at directing our contractors. He really does a lot of the field work. We both have done rehabs before. So as far as the design goes, when we're walking through a property, we have set color schemes and patterns and products that we use. So it's pretty easy for us to walk in and know how much something is going to cost. So Jeff really handles the contractors. He likes to be out in the field. He's the one doing some of the work if we need to do it in-house. I pretty much run the back office, looking for properties, working on our marketing, and just making sure that when we do have a project under management, the timelines are adhered to. We're letting our clients know what's going on, how their money is being spent. But again, if need be, I'll be out in the field as well, looking at properties. If we're too busy getting to a deadline or whatever, I can throw paint on a wall just like anybody else. So we do a little bit of both, but really I handle the back end and Jeff handles all that stuff out in the field.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Now, your buyers, so are your buyers mostly out-of-town buyers or are they in-town buyers?
The majority of our client base is out of state. If I have to think right now, I probably have 2 that are in Indiana, but the majority of them are, we have Boston, we have Colorado, Florida, Washington, Oregon, California. We've got a lot of those other areas where I was just going to say a lot of those areas where the starter homes are in the several $100,000. Those areas are hard to come by a good property. So they're looking at our area where we can pick them up a house for a quarter of that price.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to mention is, okay, so basically your clients, right. They can't find cash flowing properties, and so right. They're looking to you for that. That's really great. So if someone was to, want to expand their wholesaling business into a full service wholesaling business, would you recommend that they kind of follow that model as well? Is looking for out of state investors that don't have good rentals in their area? And find ways to advertise for them. I know you started with friends and family back in Washington. Mm-hmm. Do you do any other type of marketing to attract more out-of-state buyers?
Oh, absolutely. We have car magnets, just very localized, obviously, because we want those people to bring us those properties here locally, so we can sell them to our out-of-state folks. Jeff, every shirt that Jeff wears has I buy and sell houses on it, has our phone number on it, car magnets, we got window decals. We are always handing out business cards. We're always networking and making sure that people know who we are and what we do. We are just launching a whole new marketing campaign with some brand new websites for lead generation, things like that, so that we can service our clientele base that's always growing. I absolutely would recommend what we do. I think it's incredible. I think it's a new and kind of innovative way to take wholesaling to the next level. Even if you don't want to manage the rehab part of it, you can still do semi full service and give your client not only the property, but the resources for them to connect with on their own and manage it themselves. And then they can come and work in your area and find success and still get a project completed, but they don't physically have to be feet on the ground. That's kind of what our whole goal was. So whether you manage the rehab or you just give them the whole ball of goods, there's another option right there. So yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. Okay, and what about marketing for the buyers, the buyer clients? Do you do any marketing there, or is it all word of mouth, or?
The first couple of years we've done it really has all been referrals and word of mouth. I mean, we got some great clients about 3.5 years ago, just through networking and other real estate investment organizations that we belong to on a national level. And they were like, oh, hey, I do this. And oh, hey, I do this. And so our buyer base initially has been all word of mouth and referral. But we, in the last about year, I would say, really have been marketing ourselves in other areas online. Hey, if you're looking for great returns on a rental, this is what we can provide here. We do it on Facebook, Craigslist, anywhere we can put something out about ourselves, let people know who we are and what we do. We're there.
That's awesome. Now, your full service is a little bit different from a turnkey provider, right? So, because it sounds like once you wholesale them the deal, you fix it up for them, you then refer them to a third-party property manager to manage it. Yep. Have you considered doing it more like the turnkey model, where basically the purchase, the rehab, putting a tenant in is completely done already, and then?
Yes, we have done that. We did have a property management company for about a year. And for us and what we do and the volume of wholesale deals and renovations that we're managing, for us to take on in-house property management was very time consuming. Property managers are angels as far as I'm concerned, because that is not something I can do very well. It's hard. We don't mind working with our tenants, but qualifying tenants, showing the properties, and just monitoring that process afterwards was certainly something we thought we wanted to offer. And we did try it for about a year, and I'm just being very candid with you. It was extremely time consuming and was a full-time job all in itself. And we have not gotten to a point, or we're not at the point at that point where we wanted to expand our personal operation to hire people to do that in-house. So we decided to just outsource that. And it's working great right now. We've got people that manage it. I'm not getting those phone calls at 2:00 in the morning saying G.I. Joe got flushed down the toilet. I don't have to go fix it. I'm happy girl. So we're okay outsourcing that.
You about property managers being angels, right? I think it's like the most difficult part of our business.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. They deserve way more pay than they get. Trust me.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what are your plans? Where do you go from here? Are you looking how are you growing from here? Are you growing by doing more of these type of deals? For more clients? Are you expanding into other strategies? What's your growth strategy look like?
Sure. Well, kind of like I mentioned a little bit ago, we're going on this whole new marketing level. We're getting new websites generated for lead generation. We're looking at hiring some virtual assistants to make things a little more automated, less hands-on for us. We'd like to kind of separate. We'd like to service the clients that we have, Still continue to grow that, but we also want to start separating and doing a little more just direct wholesaling like we did in the beginning, where we're not managing those rehabs. That's one avenue. The second avenue is we do have our own mentoring program for wholesaling and doing our full service program. And we really have been, we're pretty faith based. So I'm going to share a little bit. We've really been feeling led lately in the last 2 or 3 months that that's really what we need to start sharing with people. We have a lot of folks interested in it. So although we've been doing the mentoring on a one-on-one basis with some of our people here locally that are interested in it, we are now creating a full-blown, full-service wholesaling mentoring program that's going to be coming out here in the next couple months. So I guess becoming more automated and then teaching people how to do what we've been doing the last couple of years really are the two big goals that we have for 2017, and they seem to be coming together quite nicely. So we're happy about that.
That's great, and I love that you niche it into the full service wholesaling, right? Because there's no shortage of wholesaling courses out there, but I don't think I know anybody who's teaching full service wholesaling, right?
We'll keep it a secret for now.
So when are you launching that?
I'm sorry?
When are you launching that, or has it already launched?
We've already piloted it out to a couple local people here. We did one with one of our investment groups. Went pretty good. We actually just got about 2 or 3 more clients one-on-one, just because I want to make sure it's working okay. We're in the middle of creating it now so that it's more web-based, so we can hit a demographic that's a little more national, not just here in our area. People can do full service wholesaling no matter what state they're in, and that's what we want them to know. So I would probably say in the next 2 or 3 months, we're just putting all of our curriculum on video so that webinars can happen and they can log in and learn at their own pace, go back and listen, reread, all that kind of fun stuff. So I'd probably say in the next 60, maybe 90 days, depending on our travel schedule coming up, how quickly we're going to get that out. So we're excited about it.
That's great. So would you recommend this full service wholesaling to someone that already have an existing wholesaling business, and this would be the expansion, or would you recommend this to even a brand new person starting out?
You know, I'm certainly never going to limit anybody at any point. If they're getting into this and this is something they like, and maybe they already know how to rehab, maybe they're a contractor and they just want to get into investing, and if you're new and that's your ability, then go for it. I think that's incredible and we're going to support you. It is a little more of an advanced strategy, to be honest. I think wholesaling is an art in itself. I think learning to find the properties, negotiate, get them under contract, find the right method to close, whether you're assigning, doing a dry double close, wet double close, whatever it is, that's a skill. And I think a lot of times when you're just getting started, it's important to know that skill and be able to hone that craft before you add the next level. But it doesn't take years to learn that, right? You can do 2 or 3 wholesale deals and then start incorporating the full service part of it. Maybe you're doing the middle piece of it where you're just providing the service providers, do a couple deals like that, and then move into that managing a rehab, because managing a construction project is a big deal. There's liabilities, there's time schedules, there's budgets. And if you're not a very organized person to begin with, those are skills you need to learn. And although, like I said, I encourage anybody that wants to jump in, right away to do it. But I do think it's a little easier to do the full service once you've already done a few wholesale deals and you understand that process. Like I said, most of our clients are out of state. So all of our closings happen remotely, right? Paperwork's being sent over and signed in another state and emailed back or mailed back overnight. Those are things you have to learn how to do with your title or your attorney when you're doing a closing. And if you're just getting started, it may be hard to learn all of that and then go, okay, now I'm going to manage the rehab, but I don't know what to do. So I think it's okay for both, but I think my personal preference is if you've already done a few wholesale deals and you're just looking for the next level, then full service is truly an option.
That's great. That's great. And so what about funding these deals? Are you helping your clients with like private money to fund this at all of that's up to them to find on their own, or a lot of them using their own money? What's
Sure. You know, the cool thing about what we do and the whole concept of wholesaling is to do a deal with no money of your own. And all of these deals are done with no money of our own. Our end buyers are the ones that are, you know, funding not only the purchase and funding the rehab. So we're not out of pocket money for that. And then a lot of them come to us with private money already, or they're using their self-directed IRA, or they've done a few deals in other areas and are looking to expand. We do have, as part of our full service, banks that will cash out refinance our clients. So once they get a property finished, they can go to this bank and cash out, refinance, pull their money out, and then go do the next one, right? So that's part of what we offer them, is that opportunity to stay in our area and just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. So we've referred a few lenders, and some of those people offer money for purchase and rehab, and then keep the portfolio loan, which means they're keeping the loan in-house, so it's not recorded, unlimited number of loans, right, for rehab. So there's options on the front and the back, and we've provided people that can do both. But truly, it's better if somebody comes to us with their financing already in line, because when I present a property to somebody, I'm expecting that closing to happen in 30 days or less, just because of the time frame and the system that we have in place. They've already got to have that going. If they need to get financed, that's great. We can help them, but until they get their approval and they're not ready to roll, we probably won't do a property. We just need everything kind of set in place.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Let me see here. And I know in your own business, you also do fix and flip. You also do buy and hold. How do you decide when to keep something for yourself versus when to sell it to your client?
Well, that's not always easy. You know, our model is like 1 in 10 we'll keep for ourselves and do that. You know, we have personal goals, and so we're trying to do what we can to meet our personal goals as far as the number of rentals or the amount of passive income that we're getting just from our rentals. And we have goals of how much we want to earn a month. We call this passive income also through wholesaling. I can just keep wholesaling and get that money every month. And then if we're looking for some big event to happen, we're going to go on a big trip or something, we'll say, okay, you know, next year we're going to go here. Let's do a flip, and we'll use X amount of dollars from our profit on that flip, and we'll set it aside for that trip or that vacation. We do the same thing with wholesaling, but you know, we try to be fair to everybody. We not only want success for ourselves, but we want success for our clients, and we want to teach new people how to do this. And oftentimes, probably more than we should, we have bought our students first deals just so they can get that flavor and they can see what it's like and know that it's a possible option for them to keep moving forward. So I would say maybe 1 in 10 we keep for ourselves as a rental. If it's something we can wholesale and make a profit on it, we will. If the numbers are too tight, but we can make a profit on the flip, we'll usually keep that in-house. So it's really, and it depends on how many people I have begging me for properties at one time. Maybe I've got, you know, people that want some and I just have to give them away. So it's a little bit of everything. Hard to answer.
Awesome. What about, you know, especially the rentals? Do you try to have all the rentals between you and your clients like within a certain area at all, or just wherever you can find a property?
No, you know, when we look at a property that our clients want to keep for rent, I mean, we really know our clients well, and we try really hard to find out what their goals are and what their expectations are from a rental. You know, we have some people that want rentals that are at a certain dollar amount or higher. So obviously not all of our areas accommodate that out here. We do a lot in Gary, Indiana, and the houses out there are much more economical, but the rent returns are much higher. So it just depends on their comfort level, what their dollar amount is that they want to be in at. Everybody has their own philosophy on what makes a great rental. And we try and find what their ideal piece of property is, because they're our client and we're here to serve them. So it's hard to say one or the other this is a better, though, this is a better. It really depends on what our client is looking for. So it's just tailored specifically to them.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Wow, this has been a really informative, really great interview. Thank you so much, Melissa, for doing this interview with me, and definitely let Jeff know. And let Jeff know I said I thank him too for being out there working in the field, so that way you and I can do this interview together.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, it's raining here today, so I'm sure he's not happy about that, but.
That's awesome. Oh, you know what? You show me the shirt that he wears everywhere he goes. Can you show that real quick for the audience watching?
Yep.
So that way they can have an idea for themselves.
We have T-shirts and sweatshirts. This is what Jeff wears every day. It's on the back, and the sleeves say "We buy houses, home 9 yards." And I got to tell you, it's funny. We'll be out at a restaurant having dinner, and Jeff's phone will ring. And we don't usually answer when we're out eating, but he has answered the phone, and people have said, "Oh, you buy houses?" He's like, "Yes, I do, but I'm at dinner. Can I get your number?" And like, "Oh, well, I'm just sitting 2 booths behind you. Can I get your business card?" And we're just like, seriously? But we have car magnets that say the same thing, and we've had people block us in grocery stores and then come up and knock on the window. I have a house I don't want anymore. Can I talk to you? And I mean, really, we're just there to be available to people. But every day he wears a shirt that says that on there. And truly, this is probably have been our best effort in marketing to bring us properties, because people can see us physically. We're there. We're wearing the shirts, and they can approach us directly. And I think that's really been a big deal for us. And so.
That's awesome.
That's what he wears every day.
That's awesome. I love that. It reminds me of this saying, like, this is how you know you are in business, is that if you had to go to courts, right, you go on trial, can they find enough evidence to say that you are a real estate investor, that you buy houses? Right?
Yeah, I think they can figure that out. Yes. We don't hide that fact by any stretch of the imagination. So
that's awesome. I love that. Well, I really appreciate this interview. It's been really, really awesome, and I love you out there teaching about the full service wholesaling. No one's teaching that, so I'm really looking forward to seeing your success in that, and having creating this whole new business for the whole industry.
Yep.
So that's really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, everyone. I hope you got as much value out of this interview as I have, and enjoyed it. So do give us feedback, rate us, share this with your friends. One more thing, Melissa, I forgot to mention. If the folks listening wants to reach out to you, learn from you, do some business with you, where would you like to send them?
Like I said, right now our websites are kind of under construction. So I'm not going to give a website out just yet. But if you want to email us, you can email us at Northwest, so it's NW LLP at Gmail. So NW LLP at Gmail. Or if you want to call us, we just got a brand new office line dedicated for that. And that phone number is 219-301-7097, which is the same phone number that was on that T-shirt. But you can call and leave us a message or drop us an email. We're happy to talk to anybody about it. And especially once we get the program up and running a little bit more, if people are interested in it, we certainly would be happy to get them going on that in their areas.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for that. All right, everyone. So make sure you reach out to Melissa and Jeff, learn from them, do some business with them, buy some properties from them. So with that, happy investing, and we'll see you on the next interview. See you, everybody.
And that's our show for today. If you have any questions or would like to get further training from Tim Mai, please visit our website at www.dodeals.com/Tim.